Welcome to the Sarpy County Board of Equalization meeting. Today is Tuesday, June 13, 2023 at 3 p.m. Please silence all cell phones. A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the north wall of the county board room. We have present today Commissioners Kelly, Klug, Warren, Mixon, and Burmeister, along with our County Administrator Dan Hoynes, our County Clerk Deb Hotelling. We also have our Deputy Assessor Jackie Moorhead and Trace Jones, our County Treasurer. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 4 is the consent equalization agenda. Would anyone like to see any items removed from the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carries.
Item 5.1 is the minutes, June 6, 2023. Deb Hotelling, Clerk Register of Deeds.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kelly to approve, second by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 4, abstained Klug.
All agenda items having been addressed as published, the Board of Equalization is adjourned and will reset for the Board of Commissioners.
Okay.
Today is June 13, 2023 at 3:02 p.m. Welcome to the Sarpy County Board of Commissioners meeting. We have present today Commissioner Kelly, Klug, Warren, Mixon, and Burmeister, along with our County Administrator Dan Hoynes and our County Clerk Deb Hotelling. We'll start with Commissioners and Administrators' announcements and comments. We'll start with Commissioner Kelly.
No comment, thanks.
No comments, thank you.
Today is the grand opening of the Gretna Hy-Vee, and I know you've all been waiting for that. Two of us here have, at least. So anyway, I went out there this morning, and it's absolutely amazing. It is the biggest Hy-Vee by a very large amount. And from the guy I talked to unofficially, he said the biggest grocery store he's seen in the U.S., and that's all he does is travels and looks at grocery stores. So it's pretty significant. Take your hiking shoes. You can get some miles in, and I'd suggest just walk around the exterior, not do every aisle. And it's pretty amazing what's out there.
Commissioner Mixon.
Sounds like it's too big for me, so I'm going to pass.
Then we would miss the smile in every aisle if we didn't walk it. So.
There were a lot of smiles out there this morning.
I have nothing, Madam Chair.
Moving on to item number 4, the consent commissioner's agenda. Would anybody like to see any items removed from the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Moved to approve by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carries.
Item 5.1 is the minutes, June 6, 2023. Deb Hotelling, Clerk, Register of Deeds.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Kelly, seconded by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 4, abstained Klug, motion carries.
Item 5.2 is Resolution 2023-207, task order to the multiple project master agreement for professional services, previously approved by Resolution 2013-303 with HDR Engineering, Inc. for the construction administration services for the Platteview Road improvements, Project C-77 23-07, in the additional amount of $349,815. Scott Bovick, Deputy Administrator.
Thank you, Commissioner. HDR has been the county's partner on all things Platteview Road for about the last 5 years, and they provide a wide variety of services from design to planning efforts to, coordination with some of our stakeholder jurisdictions. This is agreement for them to provide construction management services for the Platteview Road project from Highway 31 to 210th Street. If you remember last week, you awarded that bid to Graham Construction. The money for this agreement is already contained in the 1 and 6 year road program and the fiscal year budget, but we wanted to just have a specific agreement that we can track through through our partnership with them. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions, and Chris Malmberg from HDR, who's our project lead, and Zach Hergenrader from the County Engineer's Office is here as well.
Any questions for Scott or Chris or Zach?
Yeah, I have a question.
I'll do
The connection to Highway 31, has the state approved our plan, and is that all on track, or are we still waiting on that?
We do, with this project, have a connection to Highway 31. We were also looking at improvements on the west side of Highway 31 just to be able to tie in. Recently, the state has contacted us and said because of the quickly occurring amount of growth out there that they want to continue to talk to us about what really needs to happen to Highway 31, because there's likely additional improvements that need to occur to accommodate other development. So at this point, they haven't officially sent us back the approval, but we're working closely with them to make sure that our project can go forward as soon as possible and try to do as little as we can that won't be thrown away if some other improvements come in. But the state
Is that going to be a signalized intersection?
You know, they did not indicate that they have a decision made on that. They're still monitoring what's happening with the growth. I think they're waiting for a building permit to be pulled and traffic studies to be done. We've asked them for a plan. They haven't provided one, but whether it's a traffic signal or a roundabout or whatever
So,
traffic
yeah,
feature.
I mean, not critical of the NDOT here at all, but their timelines are lengthy. So, and we're starting construction, right?
Yeah.
So we really need to get a decision from one way or another. Now, I'm not an engineer, but I'm pretty sure that's going to end up being a roundabout coming at the end of Platteview Road, and it's going to be a right in, right out only coming out of the development.
I'll let Chris handle it.
Commissioner Kelly, it's a great point. It's, depending on what happens out there, since sort of everything is speculation right now in terms of what the development is going to be and what the traffic coordination or improvements are going to be needed at Highway 31. A roundabout is a potential option. Signalization is a potential option. Some sort of access control is potentially also an option along 31 through the intersection out there with those tightly spaced intersections, similar to what they've been doing with City of Gretna to the north, trying to clean up that access so we don't have something similar where all the access points are right on top of the interchange and
Yeah.
it has a problem functioning.
So we were just out there last week, right?
Right.
And I'm thinking as we're driving down there, I'm going, there's a lot of trucks in this truck stop, and you can't really have them turning across 4 lanes of road, but you got to give them access. So it only makes sense to go right in, right out,
Yeah.
and then go down. It's got to be a pretty good sized roundabout for a semi, but that makes a lot more sense to me than anything else I've heard. So
Yeah, and we were kind of, actually, Zach and I were just kind of talking about this before the meeting here today, is that there's potential for some interior circulation, both at the Flying J as well as the development and logistics and the business park that would also potentially serve for, if there is a right-in, right-out there, that they could back into it, and basically get to Platteview from, exterior part of it and an interior of the roadway, get to Platteview and then get to Highway 31, which then could potentially be a signal. So that's where knowing what the developments are going to be and what the impacts are, that's kind of the
So
unknown
at
this
what point we're going to start construction, right? So at what point do we need to have a path forward with the Nebraska Department of
They
Transportation?
gave us, at the meeting on Monday, they gave us a verbal okay. We're just waiting for the actual signature and for the permit. They had a couple comments to the plans that we're going to address, which were pretty minor for that aspect. But their point is they just wanted to make sure that the county and the city and everybody, all the players, were aware that if there is some additional improvements that are out there, that what's being done could potentially need to be reworked. And as Scott mentioned, we're looking to remove the west leg to avoid that as a potential
rework. And then on the east leg, we're already kind of setting ourselves up with the turn lanes for potential signal or modifications. We need that anyway for the access control at 215th Street, as well as what we're doing along Platteview Road. So those are there. So if there is some interchange or intersection modifications, there could be a little bit of rework at the intersection, but we're trying to minimize what that would be at this point.
And one last question. I'm assuming that we're working with the city of Gretna on this as well, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep. They've been partners with us all along.
that's good.
And, you know, in working with the city of Gretna, you know, everything, Highway 31 is all in Gretna city limits. And so they actually probably have more insight and more information than we do because some of this development's coming through them. And we're just letting them handle that and keep us informed as they see fit. But they're in communication with NDOT as well. So Greg Perry, the city engineer, is plugged into all of this stuff and I think well aware of it, probably even has more information than us. But and as Chris said, getting our 3 lanes into 210th Street is probably critical for the entire area, and that helps 31 when changes need to be made because there's some improved, I guess, detour or alternate routing, you know, paths that some of this traffic can take while areas of 31 are being worked on.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks, Chris.
I do have one more real quick. I think last week I was asked, Commissioner Mixon, you asked how long it was. I think I said 3,000 feet. I was in error. It was 3,900 feet. So I said 3/4 mile, and as I was walking back to the seat, I was like, wait a minute, 3,000 feet, that doesn't add up. It's 3,900 feet. So I just want to make that clarification.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.
Any other questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Kelly, second by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carries.
Item number 6.1 is an executive session, collective bargaining, Kate Gatewood, Deputy County Attorney.
For the protection of the public interest, I move that we go into executive session to discuss collective bargaining.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Warren to go into executive session, second by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none.
Is now 4:06. At 3:12, we went into executive session to discuss collective bargaining, and our discussion was restricted to that. I need a motion to return to the regular
So
session.
moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Mixon, seconded by Commissioner Klug to return to regular session. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none.
All agenda items having been addressed as published, the Board of Commissioners is adjourned.
Have a good one, Don.